go. Parent functions. Parent functions. Okay, that's the title. On the upper left, so you have in front of you, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, you have 16 types, actually 15. There's 15 types of functions right in front of your face right there on this. And they're all different parents. Every single one of these has children. And all the children behave the same way as if you want to manipulate one of these functions to go up, you do it the same way for every single one of them. If you want to manipulate the function to go down, it's the same for all of them. Okay? What's the one on the upper left called, Miss Beltran? A constant function. So on your notes, you can do it on the back or a separate sheet of paper, it's up to you. Go and write f of x equals c. That's called the constant. Okay? And what that means is c is just a number. And the graph is just going to look like a horizontal line. Let me show you. It's kind of boring. Seriously? Actually, check. I'm gonna make it go black. It's kind of cool. You press the wrench, go reverse mode, so it's kind of cool colors now. Let me do f of x. Watch this. What's your favorite number, Mr. Gabriel?
24.
So watch this. The constant function is f of x just equals a number. Any number. You're going to have a horizontal line at that number. I'm going to use Gabriel's number. His favorite number is 24. Watch. F of x equals 24. You don't have to do, just let me do the graphing right now, but have your screen ready because you're going to need to do some graphing shortly. F of x equals, let's say 24. Let me zoom out. There should be a horizontal line at 24. There it is. It's in turquoise. That's all a constant function is. It's a perfectly horizontal line. F of x just equals a number all the time. 24. It's kind of boring. What's the next one after that to the right, Mr. Gabriel? What's the next kind of function on this to the right of the constant?
Oh.
To the right of the constant, what is it, f? Sorry.
Like
Right. Linear or, they call it, yeah, it's linear. The word line is in the word linear, right? That's a linear function. Because it forms a line. Let me show you. You worked with those a lot in Math 1 if you were paying attention, assuming you were paying attention. Watch this, f of x equals x. Remember mx is b? There's x. That's a linear function. So far so good. What's the next one to the right, Mr. Cruz? After linear.
absolute value.
Absolute value. That's the one we're going to work with today, absolute value. Absolute value functions. Actually, just put absolute value. They're all functions, just put absolute value. Okay? And all absolute value means is how far is that number from 0? It has to do with distance. So, let me explain. I'm going to put a number line. I want to talk about what absolute value means. You've seen it before in maybe past math classes, but just let me talk about it a little bit, what it means. Go to put a little number line underneath absolute value. Put 0, put -1, -2, -3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Does anybody remember what if I were to replace x with, let's say, -2? What's the absolute value of -2? Does anybody remember that from past math classes? What does it become, Beltran? Positive 2. Now, my question is, why is it always positive? Why are absolute values always positive? Why positive? I want it to be negative. I don't like it. What'd you say to me? I don't like the fact that it's always positive. Why is it always positive when if I substitute anything in here that for x, let's say -3, it becomes positive 3. Why is it always positive? What's going on? Somebody, help.
Because it's counting the number of spaces from 0, and there can't be like a negative space.
Man, you gotta, who taught you that?
My like 5th grade math teacher was like, she taught us like what you read.
Right, so, you proud of her, Gabriel?
No, Mister, I was the one that taught me. Great.
Let me get my mask on. I'm gonna give you guys COVID, huh?
Yup.
You got COVID cooties already, because I don't have my mask on?
Nah, Mister, you should have to give me some time.
I got you. I got you, and hold up. I couldn't even, honestly, I'm almost could not have said it better than what Beltran just said. Absolute value has to do with distance. So watch this. The distance between me and Cruz, probably about 15 feet, let's say. Let me turn. The distance between me and Mesa, about 18 feet. Distance between me and the flag, 10 feet. Look, wherever I turn, the distance between me and any object is a positive value. I don't know what negative distance looks like, do you? Any two objects in space, there's going to be a positive distance. That's what absolute value is trying to get at. So the absolute value of -3, look here, here's -3. How far is that away from 0? Well, 1, 2, 3 units. It's 3 units away, not -3 units, it's 3 units away from 0. Because it has to do with distance. No matter where, distance is always a positive magnitude in science. We call it a magnitude. You show me what a negative distance looks like, I'll write you a credit step. You're done with my class right now with an A, with 5 credits. What does a negative distance look like? Can't conceive of that. That's why absolute value is always positive. So, what does it look like? Let me graph this puppy. Let me use my graphing calculator to graph absolute value of x. Do it with me on your own calculator screen, please. So I want to see everyone's screen with an absolute value. Look at it, it's right here. There's the absolute values button. Put X in there. Close that puppy. Look at it, it's like a V. Let me see that on your screen, please. Go. I'll give you about a minute. All right, cubic would be, let's do this one, cubic. Half of x equals x to the 3rd power. X to the, press the A to the B power and then press to the 3rd. There we go. Mine's lime green. That looks pretty cool. Let me zoom in. So far, so good. All right. You should have 4. Let me make sure you guys all have 4. Rocking it. All right. Just for a review now, we're gonna, for the absolute value function, we're gonna make it go left and right. We're gonna make it go horizontal. We're gonna add a slider, make it go left and right. For the quadratic, we're gonna make it go up and down. For the square root, we're gonna do a horizontal shrink or stretch. And for the cubic, we're gonna make it go vertical shrink or stretch. So follow along with me. For this one, go to put -a, add slider, But let's not make it -10, let's make it -5. So I'm gonna click on that and put -5. I want to go as low as -5, but as high as +5 when it's sliding. It's gonna slide left and right. I don't want to go all the way -10, that's too much. I'm gonna go from -5 to +5. Don't press play yet. For the quadratic, I'm gonna have it go up and down. Let me put +A. Still gonna be A. Don't press play yet. So quadratic, I'm gonna make it go up and down. For the absolute value, I'm gonna make it go left and right. For the square root function, I'm gonna do a horizontal shift, horizontal stretch and shrink. I'm gonna put an A in front of X, I'm gonna multiply it inside. Again, don't press play yet. Just put -5, +5. And for the cubic, I'm gonna do a vertical stretch or shrink, which means I have to put everything in parentheses. Because for a vertical stretch or shrink, the number has to be multiplied by the whole function. So I have to put the x to the third power in parentheses, and then I'll put the a outside of it, notice. So, horizontal translation for the absolute value, vertical translation for the quadratic, horizontal stretch and shrink for the square root, and a vertical stretch or shrink for the cubic. I'm gonna press play now. So you got a bunch of movement going on now. I'm gonna make it go slower. It looks cooler when it's going slower. It's going too fast for now, at least for me. There we go. And I can see all the different A values. So let me see that on your screen. You got 4 functions doing different things. Again, I made the domain, so to speak, for A, -5 and +5. Everything in between -5 and +5. Let me see that on your screen. It looks awesome. Really, Cruz? Good. AX, right? Sorry. A times X. Well, it doesn't matter because this one will still be multiplied.